Sightlines, a Stadium Odyssey. Written and read by Simon Inglis. Part 1. Back to the Garden. Sightlines is the term architects use to describe the quality of view that a spectator has of the action, either over or between the heads of the spectators sitting in front. Now, in order to make the calculations required to provide quality sightlines, the following formula is used. Listen carefully. N equals R plus C times D plus T minus R all over D. Unfortunately, I was never very good at maths, so instead this is how I would describe my view. I would say that, on balance, much as I like sport, I prefer stadiums. There is, however, one fundamental aspect of a stadium's allure, beyond definitions, measurements or formulas, that I would dearly like to understand more fully, for I'm certain that few sports fans in the world do not, consciously or subconsciously, share my predilection. Male ones at least. And what's more, I think we might need help. Anton Chekhov once wrote, "What a luxurious thing nature is! I could just take her and eat her up." I know just what he means. Scene 1. Chelmsford, Essex, circa 1960. Every summer, my brother, sister and I would leave Birmingham to stay with Uncle Bill and Auntie Frida in their small village just outside Chelmsford. Bill, a jovial, ruddy-faced Glaswegian, lectured at the local agricultural college and liked to bring his experiments home. Frida, also Scottish, was a teacher and an all-round good egg. They had no children of their own and were the last people in Essex to buy a television. One Saturday afternoon, when I was 5 or 6 years old, Frida took us to a park in Chelmsford, where by the by we saw in the distance some green corrugated fencing. From our side of this fencing we could hear vague rumblings from a crowd. As we moved nearer, through gaps in the fence, I caught glimpses of an expanse of turf. Although in my mind's eye this encounter has no doubt become idealised over the years, I am certain that at that moment something clicked. This was my first experience of a football ground. That sensation of standing on the outside of a secret paradise, of wanting desperately to go in, has never left me. Nor has the memory of that Chelmsford ground, turf on the outside, turf on the inside, public space and private space, separated by a humble green corrugated fence. It was around that time, too, that I began to understand what Uncle Bill did for a living. Apart from going on about the downtrodden workers, Bill talked also about nitrates and soil and the importance of feeding the starving masses. His greenhouse was filled with dozens of tiny pots, each one growing a few blades of grass. Scene 2. Birmingham, circa 1969. From my bedroom window, I enjoyed perfect sightlines into the gardens of both our neighbours' houses. On our left lived a Mr. Lammy. One day I saw him, head down, kneeling on a rubber mat in the middle of his impeccable lawn. With a pair of small scissors, he was painstakingly trimming the top of each rogue blade of grass that had dared to grow too big for its roots. As an adolescent with attitude, with shoulder-length hair and Captain Beefheart croaking on my Dansette record player, "It's the blimp, Frank, it's the blimp!" I suppose I should have reviled boring old Mr. Lambie for his bourgeois obsession, and yet I thought of him as a solitary craftsman. What he was doing, what he was trying to achieve, did not seem to me at all perverse. After all, his lawn often looked better than the pitch at Villa Park.